What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to do a tier list video for Edison format. I'm going to be using only decks that have gotten a top 8 slot in an Edison tournament since Edison Legends. So if a deck hasn't gotten top 8 in the past 2 years, I don't know what to tell you, so I'm just not including them. Make your own informed decisions about that. Let's go over the tiers. So starting off at the top here, we have S tier. I think it's pretty obvious. S tier would be like the best decks in the format. Those are the decks that everyone is maining for, siding for. They have the most tools, the most options. They can do the most with pretty much anything. These decks are the ones that you're always really going to respect going into a tournament. And yeah, I don't think that needs any further explanation. A tier. Those are decks that are like just below S tier. People maybe aren't maining for them, but they are siding for them because they're popular decks. They're very capable of winning tournaments. They're just not the de facto best deck in the format, but they can have good matchups against the best decks in the format. And in Game 2 and Game 3 after siding, they can push really hard into that tournament winning territory. B tier decks are decks that no one's really maining or siding for, but they can just come out of nowhere with like a good matchup, a good meta call. Game 2, Game 3 post side, they can do some really cool stuff. Definitely contenders for topping tournaments. Winning might be a little difficult, but a really good player on these decks can definitely do it. I mean, if you can top a tournament, you can win a tournament, so C tier would be decks that are like, they have an okay chance to top if someone who is just really, really, really good at the deck is playing them. But outside of that, they just need like a really lucky day if they're actually going to do it. And I wouldn't trust these decks in a tournament to actually top in the current Edison landscape. And of course, any of these decks can top clearly because they are all decks have gotten top 8 spots since Edison Legends, so but these are decks in the current Edison landscape I would just not expect to see do very well unless someone was just really well prepared for everything. D tier decks are decks that are just bad. I wouldn't play these at all, even in a casual setting. Like, they've come and gone. We've moved past it. And then F tier is decks that are just straight up unplayable. Yeah, so I'm gonna, use my skills of meta-analysis to just like go over this stuff, like all the matchups that these decks have, and just like kind of, talk you through it and see what I think about these decks. Alright, so the obvious contender for S tier is Blackwing. I'm lumping hybrid and regular Blackwing together into this. I don't think they're very different decks. I think they both kind of pressure the same things for the meta. These two versions of Blackwing, everyone's maining for them, everyone's siding for them, and people aren't just maining and siding for them, they're counter-siding for them. Decks really respect the fact that Blackwings can side deck Devastation Virus, so not only do they side deck counters to Blackwing itself, then they're siding, like they're changing their monster ratios post side, and they're siding with respect to side deck, which is something that, like, if a deck can pressure you into doing, it's pretty unfair. So I think that this is like the most obvious contender for an S tier deck in the format. Like, it's really tough for me to justify putting it less, even if it's not the absolute best deck. It is definitely the deck that everyone is the most prepared for, and that the most people are playing, so on a given day it has the highest chance of winning the tournament. So, Blackwing's S tier, I think that's it's pretty easy. Next we're gonna do a huge shift. We've got this Krebens, E-Telly, Powerwell, Dark Arm, Zombie, whatever, using the E-Telly, the Powerwell stuff. Yeah, this is just an F tier deck. This is just not good. It is worse Diva Zombie, hands down, and it's unplayable. It's bad. I'm sorry. If you like the deck, well, just play Diva Zombie, please. It is better, I promise you. Okay, moving on. Gladiator Beasts. I love Gladiator Beasts. They're one of my favorite decks, if not my favorite deck of all time. But the deck has a really bad Blackwing matchup, and that's something that I think is pretty tough to have going into the current Edison meta. And Jake Mattern once told me that he solved the Blackwing matchup by just like only putting one card on the field at a time. Like, you know, you set D-Prison and they attack, and now you're free to do your Gladiator Beast stuff. And it's like, it just doesn't really work like that in Edison anymore. Like, people aren't just making those blind, you know, attack into whatever back row plays with Blackwing. Some people are, and they win anyway. But it doesn't really work like that anymore. And yeah, it's just really difficult for Blackwing or for Glads to get a foothold in a meta with so many Blackwings. Yeah, I just got to give it to F tier. It's not good. I'm sorry. Frogs. This deck loses to Gladiator Beasts, which is an F tier deck, and also Frogs start with the letter F, so I think it's just kind of fitting. Next up, Hero Beat and Diva Hero Beat. Yeah, Hero Beat has a really good Blackwing matchup because Alias is bigger and everything, and Honest is better than Collude. But it's just not that good against other things, and so even if you're gonna beat the best deck in the format, if you're just not doing as much as other decks, then the deck's just not as good. And it's also, I mean, if you're not playing the Diva stuff, then you're just playing a worse version of a better build. So you know, if the Diva Hero beats F tier, then the regular hero beats F tier. You know, sorry. Vayu Turbo. This is just Blackwing with you set monsters, which is kind of stupid. I don't know why you would want to do that. Light Sworn. This deck can literally only win if they open like charge, recharge, and drop double JD within the first 3 turns. Other than that, it's pretty terrible. So, you know, whatever. Dragon Turbo. This deck is it's pretty good if you draw well, but if you don't, it's terrible. And you never draw well, so sorry. And then Disaster Dragon. The Trap Dragon list. That's just Dragon Turbo, but slower, and I don't know why you want that. So, Diva Hero. This deck is okay. I have a pretty good build of it, that I think. But you know, it's just less consistent than Hero Beat, and when Blackwings are so consistent, and you're trying to beat Blackwings in consistency, you know, you can't really get by with not being a very consistent deck. Dark Turbo, this is only topped once, and I think there's a reason why. Fairies. Fairies are really good against Blackwing, but for the same, you know, kind of reason as Hero Beat, they're just, they're very difficult to play, and, well, that's not, well, Hero Beat's easy to play, but they're pretty difficult to play, and they lose to a lot of other things, so even though they beat Blackwings pretty handily, yeah, I just gotta, yeah. KFC, it plays, like, a lot of high-level monsters, though, and, I just don't like it. Machina, Ancient Gear, Gadgets, those type of decks. You can't convince me that a deck with like 9 level 8 monsters is good. So, yeah. Quick Draw. This just loses to Blackwings. It's terrible. I'm sorry. Chaos. Chaos Sorcerer. The Alephia Chaos pile that he got like 4th place in Ribbit 5 with. Yeah. It's got the Hero Beat stuff. And it's got Spy, which is really good against Blackwings. So, but, you know, it's Chaos Sorcerer is a little mid. It's kind of not doing a lot, so, yeah. Flamvel. This, Fire Dog is just Boneless Shura. It can't summon anything good, and you have to draw Rekindling to make any use of the deck, and even if you do, it loses to Caius. So, yeah, I gotta throw it to F tier. It's just not as good as any of these other options. It also only has 1 top. and I think that's for a good reason. Zombies, Diva or otherwise. Yeah, this deck's really hard to play, and I'm not good at it. So, and finally, aliens. Golgar's pretty good.